Hi everyone, I'm Sally and welcome to today's Atta webinar, Reimagining Kyambura Gorge Lodge by Volcanoes Safaris. This webinar will be presented by Eloisa, who is in charge of sales and marketing for Volcanoes Safaris. For anyone who is new to the platform, and to recap for those who have previously attended Atta webinars, I'd like to remind you that if you have any questions, there should be a Q&A box on your screen, so feel free to type them in there, and I will field them to Eloisa at the end of the presentation. As always, a recording of the webinar will be sent out to everyone who's registered for it afterwards. I will also include Eloisa's email address for any questions that might come to mind after. Otherwise, Eloisa, over to you, and hope you all enjoy the presentation.
Thank you so much, Sally. Thanks everyone who is joining us today for this webinar. I just really wanted to touch base because obviously I've been doing some more webinars as well on other lodges in the past months. And I was really keen to do one on Kyambura Gorge Lodge specifically because the lodge has been completely refurbished throughout last year. So we've had a couple of changes in the communal areas and also in the individual bandas. So just as a reminder, Volcanoes Safaris is a very well-established company. We were set up more than 20 years ago, and we currently have 4 properties. One in Rwanda, which is Virunga Lodge, which is down here, and 3 in Uganda, Mount Gahinga Lodge just across the border, Bwindi Lodge in the Impenetrable Forest, and Kyambura Gorge Lodge in Queen Elizabeth Park. So Kyambura Gorge is located in Queen Elizabeth Park, and you get amazing views of the savannas and of the park and of the Kyambura Reserve on one side and of the gorge on the other side. As I was saying, the communal areas have been completely refurbished. All the main lounge and the dining room as well, the outdoor terrace have been completely redone. We've also created a very nice romantic terrace. Basically, it would be on this other side where there is a beautiful fig tree, and it's possible to have, dinners or sundowners outside. As part of the 20th anniversary celebrations a couple of years ago, we started to work on our service and overall experience for guests at all the lodges. And we worked, and we are still working with some very good hospitality consultants from Paris, who are helping us really lifting the whole experience from the guest point of view. So we introduced a private butler service throughout all the lodges. So every basically guest banda gets a private butler who helps the guests throughout their stay. And we've also really worked hard on the food and beverage menus at each lodge. So in this slide in particular, you see our team in Kyambura, our chefs team and kitchen team, together with 2 incredible chefs from Paris who run basically the Le Notre hospitality school and cooking school in Paris. And they've been going down to the lodges quite regularly now to do some trainings, and basically here on the right side as well, you can see a couple of new dishes that we have now available at the lodge. The pool area has been redone. We've also added a new shaded area on this side of the pool, which unfortunately is not visible from this picture. We are also building a new spa, which will be completed in the next, I believe, couple of months. And all the bandas have been completely refurbished. So we have 8 bandas in total and 1 guide cottage. 4 bandas are overlooking the gorge, and 4 bandas are actually overlooking the Savannah. And 4 out of these 8 bandas have actually been upgraded to be deluxe bandas. So these 4 bandas will be, let's say, sold as deluxe bandas from June this year, so in a month's time. The rooms in Kyambura, for whoever has been already, are really, really big, and they basically, the works that we've done included also some refurbishing of the interiors. We used beautiful textiles from the local areas, as you can see in this picture. And all the rooms are very, very spacious and airy, no matter if they are deluxe rooms or standard rooms. We've also redone all the bathrooms as well. They have double basins and an outdoor shower, as you can see here. And of course, the weather here in Kyambura is quite, can get quite warm, especially in summertime. And it's quite different from, you know, some of the other lodges that we have in more mountainous areas. One of the main reasons to go here in Kyambura is actually to visit some of the activities part of the Kyambura Gorge ecotourism project that we launched back in February this year. So it's basically a series of activities to help protecting the ecosystem of the gorge where the lodge is located. And this is basically just a picture of the launch event that we've done on the 19th of February. The gorge is located literally minutes walking from the lodge, and it's visible from the lodge. You can see a picture here of it. We, as Volcanoes Safaris and Volcanoes Safaris Partnership Trust, we bought different pieces of lands across this side of the gorge and this side, and also on the southern entrance part of the gorge on this other side. And we are trying to basically adjoin them all. So we are restoring a 45 acres wetland on the southern entrance of the gorge, and we're basically trying to restore it to its natural status. And we are also doing a major reforestation project on both the wetland and on this area on the right side of the gorge, which acts basically as a buffer area between the communities and the villages and the gorge itself where the chimps are. So this is another beautiful picture of the gorge, and you can see one of our safari cars is just here. One of the main things to do in the gorge, and of course one of the main reasons to protect it, is that obviously a family of chimps lives here. There are currently 27 chimps in this family, and it's a very unique and interesting story, although a bit sad as well. This family of chimps is basically trapped in the gorge since many years now. So there is basically no possibility for them to connect with other forests at the moment and basically mix with other chimps families. So one of the projects and one of the aims of the Volcanoes Safaris Partnership Trust will be to try and find a way to build a forest corridor to help basically these chimps in the gorge to connect with other forests nearby. It's possible to go into the gorge and track the chimps. It's one of the best activities that I think guests can do at the lodge. The chimps permit in the gorge is only $50, and the chances to see the chimps, although in the past have been quite, let's say 50-50, now it's actually much better, and the chimps are getting really more you know, confident in coming close to humans basically. And this is just one of the pictures of the chimps. And of course in the gorge not only chimps are living in there, you can see many other primates types. Lots of birds as well. Is one of the best places for bird watching for, you know, whoever is really into it. And you can see leopards even, and you know, hippos, bush elephants. There is a lot to see as well. So in this buffer area that we bought, that the Volcanoes Safaris Partnership Trust bought, and also in the wetland, we are doing this major reforestation project. So we planted so far over 3,000 seedlings in both these areas, in both these pieces of land. And we decided to start basically involving the guests as well in this project. So every time a guest checks in at the lodge, they will get one of these beautiful seedlings here. Of course, they're all indigenous plants. and they will be invited to go over and visit the lands and plant one of the seedlings. So it's quite nice and fun for guests. In all these pieces of lands that we are trying to connect to the lodge, we've created new amazing walking safaris that are available. We have a very nice walking safaris in the wetland, in the buffer zone, and actually my favorite one is also probably the easiest one as well, the shortest one, which is literally just a loop around the lodge, and we call it the Gorge Walk. It's a 30-45 minutes walk, and every time I went to do this walk, I could see elephants. And obviously you are walking, so it's even more special, at least for me, to see them. And apart from that, you know, there are a lot of indigenous plants that are available, and our guides basically explain all the usages of them. You see many other primates around, and so forth. Just before the buffer area, we also have a very nice coffee plantation and a coffee processing, let's say, factory located in the Volcanoes Safaris Partnership Trust quarter. In this headquarter, we also have a very nice community cafe, which is run by the ladies of the cooperative, and guests can basically go here, learn about the coffee processing, just taste one of the wonderful coffees or dishes that they prepare, and then go off to the to do a tour of the plantation, and then maybe into the buffer area to do one of the reforestation projects as well. So many things to do inside the lodge, in the premises. This is one of the richest areas for activities as well outside of the lodge. So there is a beautiful kind of water safari, let's say, activity, which can be done on Gazinga Channel, which is the channel that connects Lake Edward with Lake George. And you can see a picture here. Most of the times you go, it's a very rich experience in terms of wildlife. And you see more than 600 species of birds autochthonous to actually only this channel. You see hippos, buffaloes, elephants. It's a really, really beautiful experience. And then of course, you're just next to Queen Elizabeth Park. So it's possible to do game drives here. Another very nice experience that you can add for your guests would be the lion research program. Basically your car will be, so your guests will be joined by one of the researchers, and they have GPS, so they are able to track down where the lions are. Of course, you can see the lions are colored, as you can see here. And it's just very nice. And obviously the cars can go off the road as well, off track. So it's quite nice, and you can get really, really close to the lions. So just really a couple of itineraries to combine Kyambura Gorge Lodge in your Ugandan safari. So we usually suggest to combine Kyambura with Bwindi, where you can actually see the gorillas, and obviously, you can either fly in between the two lodges, and it's a very short flight, or you can drive through the park, and it's a beautiful drive. It's actually a proper game drive day, and it takes around 5-6 hours, depending on how much game you see. And then we have a very short safari, which is the 4-day Kyambura safari, for whoever wants to basically add this lodge to another itinerary. In terms of chimps tracking, we always recommend to do at least 2 treks. So one in the gorge, just next to the lodge, and one perhaps in Kalinzu Forest, which is half an hour drive from us. And the chimps are over 100. So obviously it's quite easy to see them, and it's a very popular choice as well. From Kyambura actually can be also combined with Kibale. We have an itinerary on our website where you can actually combine it to Ndali Lodge there. So it's also possible to do that. We have, as part of the Kyambura Gorge Eco Project launch in February, we've had an amazing team going down to do some videos for us. And we launched a very nice 2-minute video, which Sally will share with you guys after the webinar. And it just explains a little bit further the project and all the activities and the vision as well of it. So I hope I encourage you to send the clients to this lodge. It's a very beautiful property and there is so much to do. Please do get in touch if you have any questions, and I'll let Sally read any questions that you might have as well now.
Thanks, Eloisa. That was fantastic. If anyone does have any questions, as mentioned at the beginning, there should be a box on your screen where you can type them. So we'll just wait a couple of minutes now and see whether anyone has any. Okay, I've got one question from Katie who says, did you say the new spa upgrades are already done?
No, they are not finished yet. They will be finished, I think, in the next couple of months maximum.
Thanks. And then a question from Soraya. Do you accept children?
Yes, we accept children, basically all our Ugandan lodges. And instead at Virunga Lodge, the minimum age required is 12 years old. But yes, in this case, absolutely yes.
Okay, thanks, Eloisa. There don't seem to be any more questions. So as mentioned at the beginning, I will include Eloisa's contact details on the email going out to all of you. So please feel free to message her. Sorry, one more has popped up in the meantime, which says, and what's the age limit for chimp trekking?
It's 15 years old. It's the same as for gorillas.
Okay, thanks. I think that's everything for today. And that is thank you from everyone. Thank you from me. And as Eloisa said, the video will also be shared on the email sent out to all of you and on our past webinars page on the Atta website. So please feel free to take a look at that. It's just a couple of minutes long and gives a really nice overview of everything Eloisa's spoken about. Otherwise, wishing you all a very nice rest of your day, and thank you so much for attending.
Thank you very much, Sally.